Hello and welcome back to another video, and this video is a video that gives me absolutely no joy in making or talking about, because I just don't want to deal with this bullshit that has just been presented to all of us at the start of the year. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about this crap, this absolute crap here. The New Year's letter address by the president of Square Enix, Yoshida Matsuda. And we're going to go through it. I haven't really planned what I'm going to say for this, so I'm just going to ramble on, so I hope it makes sense. But we'll see how we go. So, a New Year's letter from the president. I'll just get to it. I'd like to begin by wishing everyone a happy new year. Well, thank you very much. The metaverse was a hot topic in 2021. Was it? Was it? Inspiring a lively global conversation first about what the metaverse is and about what sort of business opportunities it presents. I don't know about you, but me personally, I have not at any point thought about the business opportunities that the metaverse might give. At all. Ever in my life. Anyway, against the backdrop, Facebook changed its name in October to Meta. Yes, serving as an evidence that the concept is not a mere buzzword, but here to stay. The metaverse garnered so much attention that in 2021 was dubbed the Metaverse Year. Again, when was 2021 dubbed as the Metaverse Year? I have never heard that before until reading this. Where would you rank 2021? Would you rank it as the Metaverse Year? Or would you rank it as COVID-2 Electric Boogaloo? Other global political events in the world, which I'm not going to go into because that is a can of worms I do not want to open. But there are so many other things before the Metaverse that were important and prominent this year. Where is he coming from? It's just absolute bullshit. I attribute this in large part to advances in extended reality XR technology, the increasing prevalence of the cloud and 5G. What is cloud gaming? What is cloud gaming? More sophisticated blockchain technology, don't murder me now, and other technological evolutions that have taken place in a variety of fields over the past several years. That is because these advances are giving rise to services that fall under the metaverse umbrella. The metaverse will likely see a meaningful transition to a business phase in 2022, with a wide range of services appearing on the scene. As this abstract concept begins to take a concrete shape in the form of product and servicing offerings, I am hoping that it will bring about changes that have more substantial impact on businesses as well. So there's not much in that worries me or concerns me, really. I mean, and obviously we've got 5G appearing up all around the world. I've had 5G injected in me 3 times apparently, so that's good. Hopefully I'll get better connection. But I mean, nothing much to say about that one in particular. Now, another term that gained quick. Now this is where I start to get annoyed. Another term that gained quick currency in 2021 was NFT, or non-fungible token. Or, no fucking thank you, is what I like to call it. The advent of the NFTs using blockchain technology significantly increased the liquidity of digital goods, enabling the trading of a variety of such goods at high prices and sparking conversations the world over. I see only 2021 as a metaverse year one, but also as an NFTs year one, given that it was a year in which NFTs were met with a great deal of enthusiasm by a rapidly expanding user base. Fuck off. Anyway, however, we do observe examples here and there of overheated trading in NFT-based digital goods with somewhat speculative overtones, regardless of the observed value of the content provided. This, obviously, is not an ideal situation, but I expect to see an eventual right sizing in digital goods deals as they become more commonplace among the general public, with the value of each available content corrected to their true estimated worth, and I look forward to them being familiar dealings in physical goods. I really do not like the idea, and the vast majority of feedback that I've seen regarding to NFTs or crypto being involved in games has been largely negative. Maybe a few of you here wondering why I'm even talking about this, because obviously I make videos about Final Fantasy XIV. I don't make videos about, like the general gaming space as a whole, but in regards to this being Square Enix, and in regards to Square Enix being in control of the game that I make content about, I do feel like I want to voice my concern and voice my opposition to this happening in not just the game that I play, but all of them. I'm not going to pretend like I'm very knowledgeable on NFTs and cryptocurrency, because I'm not. But the idea of adding this into a game, into games, things that are, you know, leisure activities for fun, adding in ways to own non-fungible tokens that you can put onto, you know, as crypto, you can sell on as crypto and blah, 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 blah. I do not like it, because for various reasons, like, there are huge ways that companies can take advantage and exploit you with those things. There are also, that's making games not games. They're not like fuel vehicles for like fun and being immersed in other realities. It's trying to turn every aspect of everything into a business or into a profit margin, which I hate the idea of. But anyway, I'm going to keep reading a bit more before we go into it. To address these changes in our business environment, the medium-term business strategy that we unveiled in May 2020 identified AI, the cloud, and blockchain games as a new domain in which we should focus our investments, and we have subsequently been aggressive in our research and development efforts in investments in those areas. The AI space, we established Square Enix, Arts, Alchemy, blah blah blah. In March 2022, developed efforts in the wider field of entertainment AI, rather than being constrained by traditional concepts of gaming AI. The firm's research and development efforts focus primarily on natural language processing, world models, and simulation technology. Those efforts will help us develop the game that we released in the world and enhance overall quality, but that is not all. By incorporating outputs of these research and development efforts into virtual avatars and elsewhere, we plan to apply that out-wide variety content and provide the relevant technology to other companies with a view of leveraging these research and development efforts across the entire digital entertainment business. What I find, like, not going too much into the technicality of what he was talking about, but isn't it weird that this is a letter that has been brought out publicly to the Square Enix, or like the gaming fan base? This is written like a letter to investors. Like, how could you possibly think that I, as a consumer of your products, give a shit about anything you've just said here? Why do I care? I want to know about what your use of the NFTs and the blockchain and cloud is going to mean for me as a consumer, as someone who wants to, or someone who is currently playing and putting money into one of your largest IPs. Where was I? We're exploring potential efforts in cloud space for two primary perspectives. The first being leveraging cloud technologies to distribute content, and the second being developing content that offers customers new forms of excitement enabled by cloud's attributes. More telecommunications infrastructure is being built, as exemplified by expanding the 5G coverage. Expand it! Devices are also making performance gains as these trends continue. I believe that the content we provide will become more accessible, making it more likely that customers will discover enjoyment as we gain new touch points with them. Leveraging cloud technologies is extremely effective as a means of making content and services uniformly available as a catalyst for creating new forms of excitement and expand upon the content development capabilities of which we are known. As such, we'll be making ample investment in the cloud space. Now, when you read that, like, on the surface level, that doesn't sound bad, really. Like, the technology for, like, cloud gaming isn't quite there, because obviously the connections across the entire world really do vary in speed, and if you can get the entire world up to a high internet speed, then obviously cloud gaming becomes a real possibility. Now, that sounds quite good in a way, because then, like, some of these companies, much like with the or I predict, much like with the Xbox Game Pass, where you can subscribe to a service and like Netflix or whatever, and every single time there's a new game released, you have instant access to the game without having to buy it. So you're just subscribed, the game appears on the cloud service that you subscribe to, and you can then just play it, and you don't even have to download it. It's just as soon as it's been released, boom, it's there for you to play straight off of the cloud, which sounds good, right? When looking at it like that, it sounds cool. But also, this means that all ownership of the game, of the content, or you as a consumer don't own anything. You as a customer don't own anything at all. It's all in the ownership. You are buying a license to use. It's kind of like what Adobe do. You don't buy you don't buy the program. You buy a license to use the program, which you pay for monthly. So you buy a license to use these games, which then makes me even far more concerned about the usage of NFTs in these games, because like you don't own anything from the game. You might have a receipt or an NFT receipt for something that you got from the game, but you don't own the IP for that game. You don't even have the game installed on your computer. You may have the NFT, but they have complete control. The corporation has complete control of what happens with it. If you manage to sell it for whatever, they will be able to take probably a vast majority of commission from it. And there's nothing that we as customers and consumers can do about that if we buy into this, if we accept it. Which I don't. Okay, lastly is a blockchain games. Is that where I am? Yeah, lastly is blockchain games. Be they single-player or online games, games have traditionally involved an unidirectional flow whereby creators such as ourselves provide a game to the consumers that play them. By contrast, blockchain games, which have emerged from the infancy, are at this very moment entering a growth phase, are built upon the premise of a token economy, and therefore hold potential to enable sustainable game growth. The driver, and most enables such self-sustaining game growth is diversity, both in how people engage with interactive content like games and in their motivations for doing so. Advances in token economies will likely add further momentum to this trend of diversification. I see the play-to-earn concept as people so excited as a prime example of this. That sounds fucking awful. Awful. Play-to-earn. What do you mean? So is every game going to turn into a job? Is that the point? That if you grind up enough hours into a game that you get you get an NFT, or if you put in enough money of your own into, well, let's be real. So if you've got a grind amount of content to get an NFT, but then they're going to add in microtransactions, which are going to make it easier for you to grind through that content quicker to get your NFT. So all the money's going all into the company. What a load of bullshit. I hate that. And this next sentence really just is the icing on the cake. I realise that some people who play to have fun... Why is play to have fun a subcategory in gaming? Play to have fun. What else do you do? I get there is a competitive nature to games. People play to get really good at a game and compete at a high level, of course, and there's people who play to speed run and whatnot. But I think ultimately everybody who plays a game is playing to have fun. If you're playing a game and you don't have fun, you're a moron. Like, honestly, if you're playing a game, right, like, whatever, you're playing a game and you're not enjoying it, why are you wasting your time? You have a job. You have school. Don't you have plenty of time to not enjoy things during that? Your gaming is supposed to be a recreational activity that you have fun with. And who currently, from the majority of players, have voiced their reservations toward these new trends, and understandably so. However, I believe that there will be a certain number of people whose motivation is to play to contribute. What does that mean? What does that mean? Play to contribute. By which I mean to help make the game more exciting. Traditional gaming has offered no explicit incentive to this latter group of people. who are motivated strictly by such inconsistent personal feelings as a goodwill and volunteer spirit. A goodwill and a volunteer. You're volunteering. You're volunteering, you know, to help them get more money. You want to volunteer for the corporations to get more money. This fact is not unrelated to the limitations of existing UGC, user-generated content. User-generated content has been brought into solely because of individuals' desire to self-expression, and not because any explicit incentive existed to reward them for all their creative efforts. I see this as one reason that there haven't been any major game-changing content that we were user-generated, as one would expect. Right, whatever. But they're saying that because of the lack of, like, NFTs and stuff like that, user-generated content, which is what you're watching right now, has only been a desire of self-expression and creativity. There's no explicit incentive of actual, like, tangible reward for making user-generated content. Although there is, I can tell you as someone who spends the vast majority of their free time creating UGC, as you call it, that I have no motivation at all to make content to be able to receive a receipt for a JPEG of a monkey eating a burrito. I just don't. Like, I do it for the interaction, I do it for my own creative fulfillment, I do it because I enjoy it as a process, and that is why, and I don't do it for any other reason. I don't even do it for the possibility of gaining success and being a content creator full-time, whatever, although that'd be cool, but I do it because I enjoy it. That's the sole reason. I'm a person who makes content to have fun. But that's obviously a very foreign person, or a foreign concept, I should say, to leaders of massive corporations like Square Enix and Ubisoft and all that shit. Anyway, let me carry on. However, with advances in token economies, users will be provided with explicit incentives, thereby resulting not only in greater consistency in their motivation, but also creating a tangible upside to their creative efforts. I believe that this will lead to more people devoting themselves to such efforts, and with greater possibilities of games growing in exciting ways. So it's essentially like creating, as I just said, more tangible rewards for creative efforts, so then these companies to make content about these games, so these companies don't have to make it themselves. From having fun to earning to contributing, a wide variety of motivations will inspire people to engage with games and connect with one another. It is blockchain-based tokens that will enable this. Why? By designing viable token economies into our game, we will enable self-sustaining game growth. It's precisely this sort of ecosystem that lies at the heart of what I refer to as decentralized gaming, and I hope that this becomes a major trend in gaming going forward. If we refer to one-way relationships where game players and game providers are linked by games that are finished products as centralized gaming, to contrast it with decentralized gaming, then incorporating decentralized games into our portfolio in addition to centralized games will be a major strategic theme for us starting in 2022. The basic and elemental technologies to enable blockchain games already exist, and there have been an increase in the social literacy and acceptance of crypto assets in the past few years. We will keep a close eye on societal shifts in the space while listening to many groups of users and that populate it, and ramp our efforts to develop a business strategy accordingly, with an eye to potentially issuing our own tokens in the future. Please do me a favour. Do me a favour, just please. If you are a fan of these games, of gaming in general, please don't buy any of these fucking tokens. Please don't buy these tokens. Like, let them just sit there in their shitty wallets and they can rot in the blockchain or whatever the fuck. Our lifestyles have changed and we are learning to coexist with COVID-19. Against that backdrop, I believe that the new technologies and concepts that I've discussed and changes that they bring to our business environment will provide us with numerous opportunities to enrich people's lives through digital entertainment, which is the core of our business. This is the same time that means that we're seeing the beginnings of further leaps forward to our businesses. Yeah, committed to content, blah blah blah. Society, I wish you all the best. Okay. Now, as I stated earlier in the video, I make videos about Final Fantasy XIV. And obviously I said that I'm making videos as a concerned person who plays games and is passionate about games against something like this. But one thing that really does take the cake for me, and I guess probably for a lot of you, is that Final Fantasy XIV has suffered massively recently because of the lack of semiconductors around the world, not allowing the game or the developers to create more servers to allow more people to play the game. I actually have personal friends of mine that want to play the game but just cannot because of the lack of servers. And why is there a lack of the hardware required to help assist in fixing the issues that Final Fantasy XIV currently has? It's because of bullshit like this. That is why. So in the same month that Square Enix's most profitable game ever, the most profitable Final Fantasy game ever, begins to dramatically suffer because of the lack of hardware, because of COVID, partially because of COVID, but partially because of the use of people buying a load of all the materials up because of crypto mining and NFTs and all that crap. They decided to release a New Year's letter from the president in expressing their passion and excitement to embrace cryptocurrencies and NFTs and tokens on the blockchain this year. It feels like the president, Yoshida Matsuda, has just slapped this notice is basically just slapped everybody at Creative Business Unit 3 in the face, because they are spending night and day tirelessly trying to get the game into a playable state where people can actually start to join in the game and start joining the growth of the game. And and then there's the president here embracing and celebrating the reason why the game can't do that, why the game is suffering. I mean, obviously the game isn't suffering overall, it's doing extremely well, don't get me wrong, but the game could be doing better, could be doing way better, but it can't because of the lack of hardware. I don't really know how to conclude my thoughts here. I think it's important for us as consumers, customers, content creators, whatever, it's important for us to, whenever stuff like this happens, to voice our concerns, our resentment, at least demand absolute clarity. Absolute clarity with things like this and the development of gaming. At the moment, these like letters, and they've come out from different game developers as well, or press releases, whatever, do not fill me with optimism for the future of games at all. And that's another thing I'll just say on the side. I'm not sure if I'll keep this in the video, but I watched another video about this, and there was a comment on it that said, well, what if you owned an NFT? This is talking about WoW. What if you owned an NFT of the Mount Invincible? It's like, well, you don't, though. Yeah, you might have the receipt of that, it's a cool mount, it's an amazing mount, you got the receipt for it, but you don't own the IP for it, you don't own the game, you own nothing. You own nothing. This, to me, seems just like scumbag tactics to take advantage of the unknowing general public to put more money and to generate more money into these games without actually earning your money by creating excellent content, just by adding in more. Like that's the thing. Like, they're trying to get more money into these games. The only way that we as consumers should allow more companies to get more money and get more profit is by them providing an excellent service or a better service or more value for money, not by adding in cryptocurrencies and NFTs. This is not how it should work. Hopefully, this will be the only video I have to make on NFTs and crypto. Because it is in regard to Square Enix, which is then obviously in regard to Final Fantasy XIV. I don't necessarily enjoy making these videos about like the general world. I quite like to keep my content, within the universe of Final Fantasy XIV, and so it's kind of like an escape. I like my content to be escape from the real world, but when stuff like this happens, I think it is. I feel like, and obviously, look, you do you, whatever, but I feel like it is my responsibility to say something, and I have. I would say more, but to be honest, I think my voice is going. because I've been talking for so long. I streamed today, and I've made other videos today, so I've been speaking so much. So I am going to end the video here. But if you watched all the way to now, thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments what your opinion on this whole situation is, what the opinion on NFTs and crypto is. If you genuinely think it's a good thing, please put it in the comments. And I mean that as a genuine offer. No, I would love to know why this could be a positive thing, because as I said at the start, I'm no expert in this, so educate me. If you disagree with me, educate me, and I'll be very interested to know. But anyway, please do give the video a like, it helps me out a ton. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get 1,000 subs in 2022. We're not actually that far away, so I would really appreciate if you subscribed. And also check out my streams on Twitch. I stream every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and I'm streaming the Endwalker main scenario quest right now, so I hope to see you there. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next non-NFT related video. Thank you very much. Goodbye.